Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yoga Teachers Talk, a series of conversations we're having about the various topics of interest in the world of yoga, topics related to the practice of yoga, to the teaching of yoga, and overall to the profession of yoga. We hope that these conversations are enlightening and serve to support those who are in the profession and also those who are looking to get into the profession. And our topic for today is, you're a yoga teacher now, what next? And with me, I have Soumya and Sugandha, both of whom are yoga teachers in Bangalore. And they're both freelancers. And all three of us, incidentally, serve on the Wiki Karnataka Yoga Council. And that's how we know each other. So today we just wanted to go through a few topics which I believe are relevant to a lot of newbie yoga teachers. We become yoga teachers as soon as we have a teacher's training certificate. We're usually ready to teach, raring to go, but usually we're lost about how to get started. Where do we begin? Sugandha, why don't you talk about it? Because I know you are an engineer, Sugandha. And I know also that you were working before you got your TTC and you decided to teach. So how did you begin?
Thank you, Pragya. So as soon as I finished my teacher's training, I think I was ready to teach. I wanted to explore the world of teaching. And the best and easiest for me was to start teaching in my community. There were around 20 families, and I just posted in a WhatsApp group saying that I am starting a yoga class. There was a wonderful open terrace in our apartment, and I thought that was the best place I could start off with. And amazingly, surprisingly, I got around a few men and women who signed up for my class, and they started showing up every day in the morning, and that's how I started my first class ever. And it was beautiful because they were all new to yoga, and I was also new to yoga, so they were accepting me as a teacher, and I could see the changes, and they were coming back with the differences they were seeing with the class. And that's where it flowed, and slowly I started contacting the other communities and see that if there is anything possible there. So that was my first start. Wherever you can start in your nearby communities, that's the best you should start off with. And do not hesitate to think much that will it be good, or will it be compensated, or will it be something which will fulfill, or will I be able to teach? You can just get going with your friends and families, and I think it will flow on from there.
Yeah, I want to say, Sugandha, that I think you have it. I'm going to echo everything that you said, that starting with your local community is ideal. When I finished my TTC, it's now been a dozen years or so. I finished it I was living in Arizona, and I was in this beautiful community. And some kids in the neighborhood said, ma'am, miss, like, what are you doing in that class? So where do you go? So I said, okay, well, I'll teach you what I learned today. And then that built into teaching in some schools a few years later, shortly thereafter. And then when I moved to Austria, the same thing happened. I was in a university program, in a university setting, and the same thing happened. People said, hey, what is this yoga? I want to learn what it is. So I built a yoga program based on the university course that we were taking. And again, when I came to India 10 plus years ago, I just had in my building, again, on my beautiful terrace, not so big of a community, only about 8 or 10 flats, and also the neighboring 2 or 3 flats, everybody knew each other. So I just asked around, and I said, we didn't have WhatsApp at the time.
Yeah.
But we made do with SMS. And I was really amazed. I mean, I was doing little workshops on specific topics such as yoga nidra or mudras or yin yoga. And I also did a couple of, regular morning class. We had about 6-8 people join regularly from the neighborhood. And it was really a wonderful experience.
Yeah, so one thing that you bring out, Soumya, is that, back then there was no WhatsApp. And, by the time Sugandha started teaching, the WhatsApp messaging and all of that was there. So when I started, I did not know who to contact. I had very few people in my vicinity who wanted to learn yoga, and I wasn't really. It was a challenge to get people. Like 6 to 8 people would have been a dream back then. So what I did, I actually ended up printing postcards with like a picture of me doing a Nataraj asana and just yoga with Pragya, and join my class and stuff. And a little bit, like, it was a very simple note card, and I went to Ali Asgar Road in Bangalore, and I literally, with my sister, we went to every single house, and I dropped that flyer, that postcard, into everyone's house. Okay, and that still did not get me students, but ironically, there was a CrossFit where I started teaching. I think I must have dropped a postcard to them as well. I started teaching at the CrossFit that used to be there, and from there, then it started, like, and that's how it started. The people who I had actually shared the postcard with didn't show up, didn't show any interest, but eventually I ended up teaching in that locality. So yeah, basically do whatever you need to get that first gig. So go door to door, put in your business card wherever you need to. I think that's like the best strategy if you have just gotten certified to teach. You just need to look for a foot in the door. Get your foot in the door.
Yeah. Pragya, I just wanted to say, yeah, I've seen a lot of teachers being reluctant to take the first opportunity, saying that, am I ready for it, or am I really in there to start start teaching? But they have to, somewhere they have to start off, so that whatever first break they get through, they have to just go there and put their foot down and explore it. And
right.
Yeah,
yes.
and if you have a specific focus in mind, I was always interested in, even from childhood, I've always been involved in social services and the social sector. So I immediately reached out when I came here. I said, you know what, I want to work with women's groups. But it turned out one of my neighbors knew, she knew someone who runs a home for mentally challenged women. So I said, okay, I'll teach there. And someone else knew a home for HIV positive women and children. So I said, okay, I'll teach there. So, wherever, if you have a specific community that you're interested in, take that step, ask people. And I think that's wonderful. I love the idea that you went door to door with your little postcards. And
my sister, she does this side of the road, I do this side of the road for everybody. At the time I started, I was updating Facebook a lot because Facebook was the in thing at that time. So how important has that been to you guys? Everything is online. It's become important. But let's say, even prior to this, when things were offline, how important has social media been for you guys? And what would you suggest to teachers who are starting out? Because sometimes I see that teachers spend too much time on Instagram photos. So how important and relevant is social media? What have you guys learned from your experiences? Maybe Sugandha, would you like to?
Yeah, Pragya, that's a very important thing right now, a very important topic, because social media can sometimes be very overwhelming, and it can have a lot of distraction to you, because you are taking so many classes, and if you have classes, then you have to study, you have to go to other classes and on. So you have to decide that how much time you want to spend on social media and what exactly you want to do on social media. But as a yoga teacher, I feel that you should have a presence. As soon as possible, you start start small. There are so much of content out there that you might feel overwhelmed and you might feel distracted. But at the same time, you have to know that what you want to put in, and start small and start with the basics. Let your content be very basic. Let it be the basic asanas, what you want to say, and connect with to your audience with that basic information. You don't have to be too gaudy or too influential, or start with a lot of good pictures. Just start basics, and then slowly you can grow and make it your own style and your own way. You don't have to copy anybody else on social media and make it So that's how I did. I kept on putting what my thought process is about yoga, what I want to put a message out there about yoga, what yoga is to me. And that's what people want to know. What is my lifestyle? What is yoga changing for me now? And how is it affecting me? And that's what is gonna, because your audience are, the readers are who, the people who want to know you and who want to know that how is it, as a common person, how is yoga changing you?
And just be authentic about it.
Right.
It's not necessarily, having the greatest pose or the most beautiful picture.
Right.
Being authentic.
Actually, interestingly enough, I see this kind of dilemma in a lot of younger yoga teachers, where they forget that these are two professions we're talking about. The profession of social media influencing, that is that's a whole profession. It is governed by laws. It has remuneration. It is, it is a profession. It is not like just an extra extra credit project that people are doing. It is not. And sometimes we forget that, because like it or not, we're all influenced by social media. We want likes. But the thing is, a yoga teacher is not an influencer, because that is also, influencing is also a full-time job, and a yoga teacher is a full-time job. So you need to remember that your social media presence is about the work that you do, who you are, what you teach, all of that. It is not about how many people like that. It's time consuming to put.
True, it can suck your energy out, and you may not gain anything much out of it. So you have to be very cautious how much time and energy you want to go and spend out there.
When I first started teaching when I was in Austria, and I was teaching regularly, because before then it was just the kids coming here and there. But at that point, it became a regular class. I started blogging all of my experiences, because I found it very interesting. These people from literally all over the world were interested in learning this very ancient system of lifestyle from India. So, I started writing, what they were doing and how they came to the class, who came to the class. And I thought that was quite interesting. I'll also say that once I came to India, getting on to, we have to be able to utilize the social media in a way that makes sense. Like, yes, put your thoughts out there and put your needs out there. In fact, that's how I started Prafulurja, my NGO, serves communities in vulnerable conditions. Is the first thing I did when I came to India, after I realized, okay, there's some special needs children who want to learn yoga, and then there's more. There's so many of them, and I can't handle all of them. Let me see if I can get one of my yoga teacher friends from the US to come out and kind of help me, figure things out.
Right.
And ironically, 3 or 4 friends later on Facebook, someone from my same university, who graduated from my university just 10 years later, 10 or 12 years later, found my post and said, hey, I've just finished the yoga teacher course, and I'm planning to come to India. So it was really wonderful, and we were able to, build an organization just through the social media, and that's how the word gets out, but make it authentic, I would say.
Yeah.
About what you're actually trying to do.
All right. So another thing that I want to talk about is that we sometimes see a lot of newbie teachers reluctant to do an internship or do a substitute. We see a lot of that. People have this notion that, okay, I just finished a TTC. Do I need another internship? Maybe right now is not the right time, et cetera, et cetera. And also, like in the past, I have tried to, on numerous occasions, reached out to substitutes, conducted internships, where I'm saying that you can come and you don't have to pay me, and, do a certain number of days. And then when I go on leave or I cannot teach class, then I will give the classes to you. And I designed that internship with the idea that that's something I would have loved. Someone who's not asking me to pay them to teach me something, and then who is saying that, yes, all of us are going to go on leave eventually, and you get to take that class. But quite frankly, I was disappointed that there was not too much interest for that, and I felt that a lot of the teachers didn't realize the kind of opportunity that they weren't recognizing as a good opportunity. So what has your experience been in that? What would you suggest, teacher?
Pragya, I remember it very well. As I was teaching in the community, I was trying to contact all the studios nearby and see that if they have any opportunity and where I can go, let's say as a substitute only. And I was contacting them all the time and calling them also. They were getting offended at why she's calling again and again, but still I was calling them because I wanted to do more and more work and learn more. And then their friend contacted me saying there is an opportunity to intern 10 kilometers away. Mm-hmm. And believe me, I didn't give a thought about it, that how will I go and should I go that far? Not at all. And she was paying very low. Okay. Right. And that was fine to me. I said, okay, fine. The opportunity is there to learn, and I will be going to studio and teaching, which will be completely new experience for me. So I wanted that so badly. And I just went off, and then she started giving me substitute classes, like 3-4 classes a month, and I was completely happy with it. I was more than happy to come and do the class without any payment as well at that point of time, actually. And I think the good thing was that one thing was that studio environment, and the classes were in that professional environment. And then I started networking. Okay, that was so good. So the teacher was senior teacher, so I was learning from her. I could to attend her classes and other teachers' classes. So many new horizon and opportunity just opened up because I was open to the idea of going away. The distance was not a concern for me, or money was not the concern at that point of time. So be it anything, you just have to go and explore the world and just start.
It's really about being open, and
Yes.
Which is really the core of yoga anyhow. Actually, we had a student teaching component. We had to do about 20 hours of student teaching. Mm-hmm. And I chose a couple of teachers that I would student teach with regularly, and then they realized, okay, she knows what she's doing. But it was really nice that in the first couple of classes, when, for example, the first session I taught in a yin yoga class, it was normally the same set of people every class after class after class. So I knew them. I'd been going to the class for almost 1.5, 2 years. I knew everybody there. I knew that I didn't need to explain anything. I could just show up and tell them, do this pose. And they would do it because they all knew what to do. But ironically, on that day, just a whole new set of people showed up. Yeah, and so it was really great that I had my lead teacher to lean on, and that made it really easy. And I would say, like, the same thing in Prafulurja, we require everyone to do student teaching. Right. And once somebody has finished student teaching, for example, my yin yoga teacher, she used to call on me to be the substitute. The same thing, Sugandha, as what you did. So really great idea to do an internship. But yeah, I think people should capitalize on these opportunities.
Yeah, because I also think a lot of newbie teachers don't realize the kind of opportunity it is. You're getting to teach a group of people that you did not have to put together. It's so hard. Like, I went door to door with postcards where I paid to make the postcards, and I spent the energy to go around. Here's a group of people that someone has probably painstakingly built together, put together over years, and they're saying, here's a bunch of people who know that you're a substitute, but who are willing to give you a chance, or who have to give you that chance. So go out there and show them who you are. And in fact, recently, so I have finally managed to, narrow down on one girl after all these years who's a fabulous substitute, and because she's so great, she's on time, she's available, and she has considerably less experience than I do. And I appreciate the fact that she has an understanding of that. She has an understanding of how the system works. It's older teachers, younger teachers, and you just grow together, So this, so the other day, she pinged me and she said, well, one of the students in your class, she wants to come on board with me as a personal student. And I told her, well, that's great. If she's finding more value in you, and she wants to do a class with you, that's great, and I saw that as her having capitalized on an opportunity. And it is only a senior teacher who will say, go ahead and take the student who is asking for you. It is only a senior teacher who will not compete with you, or who won't feel threatened by you, because they've been through that journey.
You have put such a good point there, that professionalism, okay, your word use the professionalism. So that's that makes you different from everybody around. So we can say just we are yoga teachers, but professionalism is what makes you different. So being on time and showing up for every class as a substitute also, or not canceling a class at the last minute. Okay, so those are all important, very important. Yeah, we can talk about it later. But I want to, because if you're substituting as well, you need to understand that you need to be a very professional there, and you should be showing up and meeting the expectation as per what is.
Yeah.
If you want to grow, the professionalism is what makes you different from other and what takes you further. That's like my personal experience. You cannot match it. You have to be professional.
And what do you guys think about like networking? Okay, again, this is a very corporate term, networking, but I feel that as yoga teachers, like, it can, even though you're surrounded by people all day long, sometimes it can get very lonely, because somehow yoga teachers are never friends. We don't really have that many friends who are yoga teachers. That kind of camaraderie that exists in, like, let's say, the corporate strata, where you can, bitch about your boss over drinks after work, that sort of thing, we don't have. Of course, we haven't met for drinks yet, but I hope to eventually do that.
At least I've met both of you.
Yes, we've met each other. Like camaraderie, meeting offline, where you're just letting your hair down.
You have enough hair to let down.
True.
But no, I think, you see, we may not meet to bitch about our classes or anything like that. But I think it's really important to network. Very, very important. That's how I built Prafulurja. Again, first it was through the internet, through Facebook, but then afterwards, someone's the school that I was teaching at said, hey, there's someone who's a yoga teacher who lives really close by to our school. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Mm-hmm. If not, other people might have thought, oh shoot, if they live really close by, then they're going to take away my class.
Right.
But my thought was, this is great. This person can go to this class. Meanwhile, I can find another school to teach at that's near my place, or and that can be that started our expansion. So we actually had 2 teachers in that area who jumped on board to take over this school that I was at in Malleshwaram, actually.
Oh.
And then slowly we were able to expand to other places because more teachers started coming, and we found different ways.
Also networking in the sense that, all of us as yoga teachers have similar challenges, and Sugandha, you had mentioned this, sometime, that, when you talk about certain issues you're having, sometimes people think, well, you have such a great job, you can cancel it, and people understand. So I feel networking is important in that sense also.
You know what, Pragya? Yeah, I just echo to you whatever you said. I'll tell you my own thing, okay? Because coming from the corporate world and having a established salary and coming that salary credited to your account every end of the month, and then you have a set of friends where you talk and you went out. When I came to the yoga world, I didn't realize it's gonna be so lonely. And there are a lot of fears and questions which day in day out come to me, okay, about, okay, because as a freelancer, you don't have a fixed salary, you don't have a fixed number of students, you don't have a fixed schedule, or you don't have any certainty that, okay, next month you're going to have those many students coming to you or no, right? So many things which are uncertain around. And then if you have a set of friends whom you can talk about it, or for the same time, you want to network about the new class or new topic or anything new which is you want to learn, whom you're going to go and discuss if you don't have the same set of friends. So networking is so important, as it is important in any other field, be it your fears, your anxiety, or learning something new, or connecting to your peers or your friends.
We need
No questions on that.
Yeah, like we need to sort of like get over this idea that we're competitors, or that's not really serving anyone. The COVID has been really nice for us in that sense, because with everything online, we've cultivated a lot of relationships online also, which wouldn't have otherwise happened. Like,
When I first came to India, I met a young woman and she was writing a book called I Love Mondays. It was for high school students, students to understand what their career options could be. So she interviewed me to be the yoga teacher option. And one of the questions she asked is, how many yoga teachers are we going to need? And I said, you know what? If every individual in this world, that's 7.5 billion human beings, and if you want to consider a few other life forms as well, okay, let's just say about 10 billion, 20 billion. That's how many yoga teachers we need. And so you could be my yoga teacher, but I'm going to be somebody else's yoga teacher and someone else. And everybody actually needs a yoga teacher. Right. That is how many yoga teachers are required in this universe.
So that brings us to another topic, which I cannot emphasize enough to newbie teachers, which is continuous learning. So very frequently when we get that teacher's training certificate, we think now we're yoga teachers and now we don't need anything else. But the way I have practiced and the way my teachers have told me is that you must go to class. On the day you don't go to class, you don't teach. But I have found like a lot of the new teachers don't have this solid understanding of this idea. That's the dichotomy, right? The more senior you are, the more classes you're taking, the less time you have for things. So, but I understand that both of you continue to practice. So what has your experience been like for that? And what would you say to the newbie teachers about this?
So you know what, Pragya, when I did my TTC, I didn't knew this idea, but yeah, I've been told that I have to continuously learn. So as I went deep into the yoga, I realized such a deep science that it has no end to it. It's the same thing as you're engineer or doctor and you keep on spending your money on your certification and the other part of education. The same thing is with yoga. You have to keep on spending time and energy and the money going to the senior teacher. I, being a mother, it's a challenge for me always to find that time out for my learning. And also the time, filling in the time and the energy and the money all together, I have to figure out. But I have made up a point that 20% of my earning goes to my learning, basically. That's my funda, okay? So around 10 to 20%, I keep it aside that this is a amount which I will spend for my education no matter what. Because over the last 2-3 years, I've realized that if I keep the money aside, then when the course comes in, I have the money for it. Otherwise, I may be short of money, actually. And I also make sure that no matter what, I attend 2 to 3 classes from the senior teacher. It may need that I have to wake up early that morning, or I have to sleep late and then figure out the time, whatever.
You have a budget, you have a formula. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. I think I want to
because otherwise I have realized that I wanted to go for the next level of course, and I saw that there is no money, and I don't want to take money from my family or for anybody's sort for my education.
It's such an empowering way of thinking about it. Like, I am not deprived of an education just because I didn't plan properly. I didn't plan my finances properly. Even like when you're younger and you're making less money, even then you can just set aside 20% and just do something with it, invest it back. I love that.
It's like you're putting in a mutual fund and then you get results out of it.
One of the first groups that offered gave me when I came to India, it was a school for children with cancer in Dairy Circle. And so they found my blog and they said, hey, you sound like an interesting person. And I said, okay, I'd be interested in doing this. I'd love to work with this sort of group. And they said, before you do, we want you to study with the person who was already teaching this class. at these children. And I said, okay, great. And I actually took at that time 2 or 3 buses to get from my place in Cooktown to Whitefield.
Wow.
Yeah, there was no, this was back in 2011.
Wow.
You know, auto would take you that far, and there was no Uber.
Right.
So I wasn't driving. I was new to this country. 2 or 3 buses to get to Swami Yoga Ratna's class on Yoga Nidra. And I'm going to tell you, that is a class I will never forget. And then I have a regular class that I attend every week, once a week, with my teacher, who was introduced to me by Swami Yoga Ratna.
Okay.
And I almost never missed that. Even if I'm, you know, even today I was tired and I said, you know, even then, and actually now I'm kind of the substitute lead.
So I, before the pandemic, I used to go to Pune every year to the Ramamani Iyengar Yoga Institute, like the central Iyengar Yoga Institute in the world. It's in Pune. And and we're required to go there for a minimum of 1 month and maximum of 2 months every year. Okay. And so I remember that I've been through that also, like trying to figure out like, okay, this is how much money I need. And so maybe I have to start going out less, or, you know, not buy this. And you know, it's difficult to explain to a lot of the younger teachers that you become a better teacher when you do this. So I think, you know, that sort of experience has been very valuable for me. Once I spent 2 months in Rimi, where I was not drawing a salary for 2 months, but I was paying for every single expense. You know, when teachers demonstrate their intent to study and they are constantly upping their game and upping their knowledge and skill set, I think it shows in the way you teach, you know.
Continuous learning. I want to quote a friend of mine who writes a blog on mind, body, spirit, and she's a yoga teacher from Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, teaching and learning are not optional. Teaching and learning are 2 sides of the same coin and an integral part of our experience.
I just want to put it to just that Apple has got a new iPhone test today, and as every electronic device is upgrading every year, why we are not upgrading ourselves? Come on, we are humans and we have all the rights to be better and better every day. And
thank you so much for organizing this, and you know, I'm really looking forward to the future topics as well.
Great. Yes. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you want to hear something from us, do write us in the comments and we can talk about that, and we can give some insight about it, whatever we know from our best of the knowledge.
Right. Yeah, that's a wonderful point. Like, yeah, if anyone has any questions, they can just write into us. All right. Okay, guys, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.